Grand Rising Spiritual Junkies, and welcome to Healers Talk Podcast. This is your girl, Marquita Mitchell, and I would just like to firstly say I am so excited to be here. I've been having thoughts about starting a podcast, but I didn't know the first thing about it, and if I'm being quite honest, I still don't. I'm just taking a stab in the dark here and we'll see what happens. But anyways, thank you everybody for attending my first podcast. And today I just want to talk about building relationships with your spiritual team, with your guides, with your angels and ancestors. I feel like this is very important just because we are always looking for some type of confirmation, some type of guidance. Where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I? Who am I to become? We always have these deep-seated questions, and honestly, the only way to that answer is through your spiritual team and of course your higher self. But if you're still operating in ego, then you're in too much of a dense energy to connect with your spiritual team. So maybe I should make a podcast on that. Another podcast for another day. But back to building relationships with our spiritual team. So let's first break down who our spiritual team is, what our spiritual team consists of, right? So it's going to be different for everyone. So I'm just going to speak on personal experience. In my spiritual team, there are spiritual guides, and I say guides plural because there could just be one and there could be many. We have many guides that come to us throughout our lifetime, depending on what phase of life we're in and what we're needing. Okay? These guides could be, they could have never held a physical body right here on earth. They could have only been spirits through the eternal of time, but they could have also had bodies and lived physical existence. But they come to us in certain times of our lives and when we need certain things. So if we're needing to work on confidence, right? Someone's spiritual guide might be Marilyn Monroe. And I'm just throwing this out there. This is just throwing it out there. First name I thought of. But yeah, if you're needing to work on confidence, Marilyn Monroe, like, she was made for that. If you need to work on being more dominant, maybe in a workplace, then you have a spiritual guide come for that. And I have had the question, where are our spiritual guides our ancestors? That's kind of a difficult question to answer because in some cases, yes, there are some ancestors that have what we need. They have the knowledge and the wisdom that we need in our life at whatever time. So yes, it could be an ancestor, but not always. So moving on to ancestors. So we know that our ancestors are those whom we share a blood connection to that have passed on. Now, the great thing about spirituality and the great beyond, the heaven, or whatever you want to refer to it as, the great thing about that is our ancestors are not only the ancestors that we know, that great grandmother that passed away, that grandfather that passed away, that auntie, cousin, and so forth. These ancestors can also be the ancestors that we have from previous lifetimes. Yes, I said that. So along with the known ancestors that we have and the unknown ancestors that we have, like our great grandmother's great grandmother, we didn't have a chance to meet them, but we are still connected to them. So we have those ancestors as well as the ones from previous lifetimes that we don't remember, right? We have this huge interconnectiveness. Okay, so our tribe of ancestors is far more expansive than we know or that we can even believe. So we have this tribe of thousands of spirits behind us, guiding us, encouraging us, protecting us all the time. That's why I'm always saying you may feel lonely, but you're not alone. You are never alone. Okay? So, and I don't expect for you to form a connection with all of these ancestors, um, but we do the best that we can, okay? And the ancestors that need to make themselves known will make themselves known. Again, everybody on the other side is serving a particular purpose in our life, right? It's not that like they work for us, not at all, but they work with us in helping us ascend to our most highest self. Okay, if that makes any sense, let me know if I'm losing you. Lastly, there is the angels, right? We've all heard of angels. Um, some portrayed as women, soft, nurturing, loving. Other times I have been told that they are men, like humongous men, giants with wings that span from one side of a room to another. So I myself have never seen an angel, but I have had an experience in meditation when an angel did hug me from behind. So I saw its wings kind of enclosed on me. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, using that word correctly, but the angel's wings kind of just came around me and embraced me in the most magical way, and I felt amazing. It is hands down the most wonderful experience that I have ever experienced, and I wish that on my worst enemy. It is beautiful. It is life changing. But our angels, our spiritual guides, and our ancestors, to me, have essentially the same job in different aspects of our lives, right? So, angels, I also see as protectors. I also see them as being guides, okay? Have you heard of angel numbers? Now, I don't know if only angels can send angel numbers. I haven't ever thought to ask that question, but I know that a heavenly divine being on the other side is communicating with me whenever I see angel numbers. So whenever I see those angel numbers, I just say thank you, spiritual team, for everybody involved, because I do believe that I am a group project. And as we all are, respectfully to our spiritual team, we are our spiritual team's group project. Okay. And I'm pretty sure mine are sitting in a corner most days, like, why did we even sign up for this? But I know that it is love that they offer me, and everything that they guide me to and through is because of love. As I've said, angels, spiritual guides, and ancestors are not the only spiritual beings on the other side. Okay, I have also had experiences with fairies on more than one occasion, and I know that sounds insane. Trust me, I thought I was going crazy too. But I have dealt with fairies, angels, as I've said, spiritual guides, ancestors. A lot of other people have dealt with different gods, and I know I was born and raised Christian. Okay, so I know you don't have to start me on that, but in a world of possibilities, I think it's safe to say that anything is possible, because 5 years ago, I would never have believed the things that I can do now were possible. Right? I'm like, hey, those people are crazy. You need to go ahead and put them in a loony bin. They need to be hugging themselves in a white room. Like, that's where my frame of mind was 5 years ago. But now, being able to do some of the things that I can do, it kind of makes you wonder, is there more than one God? Now, I say that, and God knows my heart, so I'm not worried about judgment from you. But honestly, it makes you wonder what is really out there. But I've known people to have experiences with different gods, right? And it's really crazy. I don't want to get off track here though. But whenever we're build, blah, 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 sorry, whenever we're build, can I talk? Whenever we are building these relationships with our spiritual team, whoever it may consist of, um, we're really getting to know that energy, right? Because you're like, well, how are we getting to know a spiritual thing? Like, do we need to know his favorite color? Where was it born? How long has it been around? It's nothing like that. You just get familiar with the energy. Spirits who are with us, they enjoy a lot of the things that we enjoy. So, example, I love painting. I love painting, drawing, sketching, all of that. I love it. Whenever I am getting lost in it, I feel as though I'm connecting with something beyond me that loves what I am doing just as much or even more, right? So I can connect with that spiritual being, whether it's an ancestor, well, for me, it's an ancestor, but whether it's an ancestor or a spiritual guide or maybe even an angel, they enjoy the things that we enjoy because they enjoy that peace, that love, that we are experiencing, that bliss. Please excuse me, I don't know why I can't talk, but that bliss feeling that we are immersed in or submerged in, they enjoy that. They get their rocks off on that. Okay, so that's one way that we can connect. And I want to advise you, if you're beginning to build these connections, I'd advise you to begin with your ancestors because you have a shared blood connection. So it's a little easier for you to tap into their energy. And I don't mean the ancestor from 2 lifetimes ago. Start with someone that you know that has passed on, right? Whether it be a sibling, a parent. A parent is a really good one. Cousins, aunties, uncles, so on and so forth, grandparents. Whenever you're beginning with someone that you have already had a physical connection with, it's easier for you to tap into that energy. So for me, okay, let me back up. So you can start with some of those people, loved ones that have passed on that you had a physical connection with in this lifetime. Or in my case, you might have a loved one reach out to you first. Okay. So with me, 4 years ago ish, it was my great great grandmother, Elizabeth. And Elizabeth was a full-blooded Cherokee who was disowned by her tribe because she married a black man. And I found that out after she passed on. I wish I would have had some of the wisdom and knowledge that I have now to sit down and talk to her and ask her these things. But she is the first one that came to me because in that time of my life, I needed what she represented, which was grace, right? She was etiquette, she was poise. And I needed that in my life for what I was going through because I'm just starting out in spirituality. I'm starting to see things. I'm starting to hear things. I am freaking the fuck out. So I needed her energy to kind of help me gracefully go through these changes and transformations that I was about to go through. Okay, so in my case, I had an ancestor reach out to me, and actually, that happened on 2 occasions around the same time. The second ancestor that reached out to me was my grandfather, who had recently passed away, and he reached out to me in a dream. And guys, when I tell you this dream felt so real, it felt real. I hugged him. I could smell him. Like a familiar hug. Your grandparents hug? Come on, grandchildren. We know our grandparents' hugs. So it felt extremely real. And then I woke up finding out that it was a dream, but he had came to me to tell me that he was okay. Everything was fine. He was watching over me. He's always with me. And it was a beautiful feeling. So him, my great great grandmother, also had another great grandmother to pass on. I know their energies because I grew up with them, right? They were around in my childhood, so it's familiar. So I know whenever they're around by the music that may come on Pandora. When I'm listening to Lil Wayne, right? Listening to Lil Wayne on Pandora and Marvin Gaye starts to play. That's odd. It's so odd that it has to be a synchronicity, a synchronistic event. It could be my grandmother who loves Marvin Gaye reaching out. She wants me to pay attention to something. And because I know what she represents in my life, I can kind of pinpoint where she wants me to focus, where she wants me to bring my focus. Now, once you begin to build connections with your spiritual guides and your angels, I suggest starting with offerings. And I thought it was so crazy. I thought this shit was so crazy. Offering liquor, right? Alcohol. And I'm not a big drinker. I always have a bottle that I pretty much babysit for about a year. So I was like, I'm not doing anything with this. And I started giving like little shots of tequila. I'm a clear liquor. I don't really do the brown. So I started with tequila, and also vodka, and I could feel like a happy, giddy feeling whenever I gave it. And maybe that was my energy, but I really do believe it was theirs. So I started giving that more, and then I was like, well, I just don't want to get them drunk. Like I didn't know what they used it for in the spiritual, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. So our liquor may not be liquor there. But I was like, I don't want to just keep giving them this, with my limited thinking. So then I started giving fruits. I get some apples, some oranges, cut them up, set it on my altar, right? And that's another thing. Build you an altar. If you don't already have one, build you an altar in which you dedicate to them where you can leave your offerings. But I would leave food, these fruits on the altar, the liquor. I have also left marijuana. I have left dinner. Whatever we ate for dinner, if it was a good old school cooking, because not all the time I'm making everything from scratch. Sometimes I cook out the box. Don't judge me. But whenever I make something from scratch, and I put my foot in that thing, I will leave that as an offering as well. And then the more you do it, you start to pick up on the things that they enjoy. I have left flowers, right? So it doesn't always have to be something edible, just something from the heart, right? Whenever I'm at Publix and I see some flowers and I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and get that. I have also given things last minute, like spur of the moment. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Tea. My spiritual team loves tea. So the more that I gave offerings, said my prayers, sat and connected with them during that time, the more I realized what they liked, right? So I'm building this connection, this give and take connection. And it's not about us giving offerings to them for information. Like it's not that kind of handoff, but it's a mutual respect sort of thing, right? I'm showing gratitude. Thank you for getting me as far as I have gotten. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. We all have something to be thankful and grateful for. So it's in that time during offerings that we show that appreciation. Okay? So the more that we give our offerings, the more that we meditate with our spiritual team, the more we're connecting with them, especially whenever we start seeing and realizing those synchronicities, right? those angel numbers, hearing words, phrases, songs over and over in our head, and maybe somebody else even saying something that we have heard, is those are synchronistic events that our spiritual team uses to deliver us messages, okay, or guide us or warn us. And sometimes those things are a little hard to believe, and you're like, no fucking way. What a hell of a coincidence, right? How often do we say that? What in the hell? This is a hell of a coincidence. I was just talking to such and such about this, and then you said that is your spiritual team touching. Let me hold on. That is your spiritual team tapping into the energy of others around you to get you to receive a message, especially whenever our minds are too cloudy and we got too much going on mentally. Our minds are not still. Our spirit is not still. So they have to, hey, tap them on the shoulder and, hey, tell Shayna this. That girl ain't listening. She got so much going. Just tell her I said. So that's how spiritual team works. Now, the more that we build these connections with them, the more we are familiar with their energy, to a point where, okay, check out this analogy. You know how your house has a certain smell, okay? You don't disagree here. Your house has a certain smell. You do not smell it because you're always in your house. It's yours. You're always there. So whenever you come home, you don't smell anything different unless it's, something different, like one of your children deciding to cook ramen noodles in the microwave and not putting any water in the bowl. Sorry, trigger moment. But all of our homes have a unique smell. We cannot smell it, but others around us, whenever they come into our homes, they can smell it. That's how our spiritual teams are. When you are acquainted with your spiritual guides, the energy around you is just familiar. It just is, right? And you don't realize that energy has shifted until the presence has left or a new presence has come in. Now, this has happened to me last night, I believe. I was just sitting on the couch, smoking, talking to CJ, watching TV. And I felt like someone was standing beside me. And I thought it was like one of the boys. It's like 10:30 at night. They're supposed to be in the bed. So I turn around real quick and nobody is there. I stand up, I look behind the couch, nobody is there. And I'm like, okay. I know I felt something beside me. Now, I have come far along in my spiritual journey to begin trusting myself. That those first few years were hard. But I finally got to a point where I can trust myself, trust the energy that I am receiving and that's around me. So I knew there was something there. That presence was unfamiliar to me. It wasn't a bad presence, right? It didn't feel like joyous or exciting. Like, it wasn't give me goosebumps. But it wasn't a negative energy. It was just different. This is a new energy, and this energy has been with me ever since. I can still feel it because it's still new. And because of the spiritual work that I do, I can tell that this is a masculine energy. It is a very mannish energy. Now, in the spiritual, there aren't men and women. There is just masculine and feminine. Okay? So this is a masculine energy that is with me. That of a leader, so this may be a new, and I haven't done the work yet, guys. I guess this is my first time speaking to this spirit. But I believe that it is a masculine energy. Someone who is very, kind of reminds me of a king, right? Just very, I don't know why stubborn is coming to mind. Maybe they do have a stubborn energy, but my point being, we do have different spiritual guides coming in and out of our lives at different point of our lives, different phases, levels. So this new energy that is with me is most likely with me because I'm about to partake on a new level, which means a lot of transformation, which means a lot of shit, a lot of disturbances within my environment, right? But the energy that I'm picking up from it is to stay strong throughout it, to stay stubborn, unshakable, unmovable, right? Oh my God, oh my God, that's so strong. Uh, I have gotten way off topic here, but you see how I'm able to pick up on new energies within my spiritual team because I have built connections with those in my spiritual team, so I know who's coming and who's going, sort of speak. Okay, so I hope I have answered some of you guys' questions. I really don't know how to close this thing out, but I want to give a special thanks to all the spiritual junkies out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to my first podcast. It was super exciting, and I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but I hope I gave you guys a lot of, well, I'm not even going to say that. I did give you guys a lot of insightful tips and tricks on connecting with your spiritual team and building bonds that both you and your spiritual team can benefit from. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today for connecting with spirit or connecting to spirit on the Healers Talk podcast. If you guys enjoyed this episode of Healers Talk podcast, make sure you tune in for next week's episode where we talk respect my boundaries. Learn what it means to create boundaries, maintain them, and even separate yourself from people, places, or things, or even ideas that challenges your authority to maintain a healthy life. This is your girl, Marquita Mitchell. See y'all again real soon.